Alright, so what I'm about to show you is where UFOs come from. Where they originated from, not from outer space. But right here, in Nazi Germany. And I'm also going to show you what the man with the mustache did, who you saw Elon salute, with his little arm. And I'm going to show you what's the big fuss about Mars. Okay, let me just give you a couple facts. 261 different models of the UFOs. Right around the time of World War II. And we, Julian Assange said, are at war with these things still. And which I don't doubt for one minute. Because there is a Fourth Reich. And it is in Antarctica. So this is a honeyboo, I think, 2, I think. He was saying, these things operate on generators and batteries, and they use the Earth's electrogravitation. They were designed that way. So once they lifted up and got up to a certain, point, they would be good. I was thinking about Melania's hat, because he was saying something about Bavaria, and these guys saw UFOs in Bavaria that, were honeyboos. And if you see the honeyboo, I mean, it looks just like Melania's hat. Identical. And I found it really weird at the inauguration when she was wearing that hat. And it's just a strange hat to wear. And she's very, very strange to begin with. Yeah. Most of these crafts are unmanned as well. They're also weaponized, to a point to where they had, tanker guns, at the bottom, just weapons, that could, go to war with anything. And what else he said? They also worship the black sun. Nobody knows where the Nazis actually got this information from. Probably Sumerian, I would say. Because you're going to see Marduk or Mordecai here soon. Because the planet Mars belongs to Marduk or Mordecai. Yeah. So I'll just play a couple minutes of it. I'll leave the link for you guys. This is something I haven't seen anybody really put out there. But it's truth. It's the closest thing I could give you to the truth. Because I don't know if they're lying. Oh, yeah, they're saying that the drones, the UFOs, they were friendly. But I could tell you right now, you better hope you don't see something like that in the sky. Because you look at it on a screen, it doesn't seem like a big deal. Well, when that thing's sitting above you, that's what God talked about when he said men's hearts are going to fail them. So I'll let you guys watch a couple minutes of it.
The CIA recommends that security advisors want information they go to the press in order to avoid panic. Almost all photographs from then on have been censored.
Oh, they did say that these UFOs come from Venus. Venus, of course, is a planet, a winged planet. It looks like a winged planet. And that what do you call it? Moves in the opposite orbit of everything. I've seen massive firebirds, and they could have been, UFOs, but yeah, I saw some I saw some UFOs before.
About that time, a movie called Earth vs. Flying Saucers was released, but very soon disappeared. This had extraordinary special effects and has only recently turned up in local video stores. This German news clip is a report that an American farmer who witnessed the landing of a flying saucer claimed that the occupants spoke German.
The occupants of this UFO spoke German.
Arrested. The strange markings on this spacecraft show drawings similar to the swastika. Who also saw flying saucers landing. He was a relative of Winston Churchill. His name was Desmond Leslie. Adamski and Leslie were not arrested. From then on, saucers looking like a Honeywood 2 were thought to come from Venus. The origin of the many types of UFOs seen in almost every country on the planet remains a question. It's interesting to note the very great interest shown by the German military before and during the war in the Antarctic continent at the South Pole. In 1938, as Germany was strongly preparing for war, Captain Richter led an Antarctic expedition. He was sent there by Hermann Goering.
I told you, Hitler saw Marduk or Nibiru in 1938 down in Antarctica. Malachi Martin talked about it. But, yeah. And he said, now we must shed blood. Interesting, isn't it? Because Mars was the real red dragon. People talk about China and stuff like that. No. The planet Mars was once called the red dragon. Okay? So, I don't know if somebody was talking about a prophecy of a white dragon versus a red dragon and this and that. Well, here you are. You now know what the red dragon was.
This top-secret expedition was directed to ice-free parts of the Antarctic. The German part of Antarctica was called Neuswabenland. Where German flags were erected. This is a document of gratitude signed by Hermann Goering. Second World War, Admiral Dönitz, the submarine warfare expert, made a very secret mission to move the so-called last battalion.
I mean, that's another thing. They found I mean, they are still finding sunken submarines, from World War II, and once this UFO madness had begun.
This is a list of nearly 100 U-boats which remain unaccounted for. From the serial numbers in the left-hand column, we can see that this is not a random list, but a complete series of U-boats which have disappeared. There is evidence of a number of secret bases in the Antarctic. This is the statue of Marduk. More of him later.
There he is. The man that the planet Mars was named after.
And the President of the Third Reich signed the surrender documents which ended World War II in May 1945. But they never surrendered the Third Reich itself. So officially Germany never surrendered. And this raises the possibility that there may still be German forces in the Antarctic. Hitler said that if Germany was overrun, the fight would continue from outside. Perhaps we need not place any special significance to this remark. During 1952 in Washington there was panic. You can see from these photographs of a radar screen UFOs flying in formation.
And you see how you see where those UFOs are, and you see where, of course, that's America, and I could tell you that these UFOs, they follow a track from the corner of this country, Portland, down and through Florida.
They went straight over the White House. A number of radar surveillance centers had the same alarming images on their screens. This was July 1952. Some years prior to that, in 1946 and 1947, Admiral Byrd undertook a US Navy invasion of Antarctica disguised as a scientific expedition. It had the code name High Jump. After preparations in the previous year, Operation High Jump started on the 30th of February 1947. And yet on the 4th of March, after the disappearance of several aircraft, the expedition was cancelled. Although the details have never been published, Admiral Byrd said that objects were able to fly from one pole to the other, and it was necessary to defend ourselves against flying machines from the Antarctic. From the German magazine Spiegel, indicating the flying patterns of UFOs. A New Zealand airline pilot, Bruce Cathy, observed similar patterns over New Zealand. major expedition to the Antarctic, during which on the 27th of August, the 30th of August and the 9th of September, there is evidence that nuclear missiles were fired at Neusbadenland, the German territory. This could be linked to the holes in the ozone layer in the Antarctic today.
So, did you just hear what he said? Holes in the ozone layer. This video is from the Knights Templar, number one. The information is 100% fact. So there you have it. The ozone layer destroyed in the 40s. I mean, not by, fossil fuel or, cart or whatever, greenhouse effect or... I mean, that has an effect, but not like holes in the ozone layer. And this was Pandora's box Hitler was about to open. Operation being a joint German-Japanese expedition in the Hanibu 3 to the planet Mars. A Hanibu 3 with a diameter of 71 meters is claimed to have enough power to travel the 75 million kilometers the distance from Earth to Mars. 75 million miles in a Hanibu 3. And they probably made it.
Report that the SS Department D4 decided to make this journey. This would have been a one-way trip, unless they received help along the way or at the other end of the journey. In this latter part of the war, the level of desperation was sufficient to try anything that could change the fate of Germany. Hanibu 3 was supposed to reach Mars in 8.5 months, in January 1946. The Hanibu 3 was the only craft which had the speed to reach Mars, and yet if it did arrive, there's no evidence of a friendly welcome. These photographs of the surface of Mars show the bleak landscape that would have greeted these space travelers. Seeing this huge carved face on Mars, wonder if it might have been carved long ago as a deliberately grim reminder left by civilization destroying itself with war and greed, or nuclear holocaust, perhaps millions of years ago.
Left because there was a nuclear holocaust. They destroyed themselves over war and greed. Sound familiar? Look familiar?
There's an old Egyptian legend of the god Marduk being sad about his home country, Mars. There are photographs of pyramids on Mars and of a ruined city the size of Los Angeles, complete with an underground grid system still emitting infrared or heat.
Now hold on here. Pyramids on Mars. Not only that, the size of LA with a grid structure that is still emitting heat. This was in
radiation. We can only speculate on these things, but it is remarkable that with satellites able to read a newspaper on Earth from various vantage points orbiting around the planet, and with almost every astronaut coming back with stories of seeing flying saucers in space or being greeted by 100 spacecraft on what is supposed to be the first landing on the Moon, that no believable explanation has been offered regarding the vast number of sightings by people of all ages and professions. For 1 million in the USA alone. Where military personnel are trained to debunk sightings, and NASA curiously publishes photographs showing UFOs, such as this one.
Yeah, so they will never let this truth out. So, with that being said, you people think you're going to get to the bottom of, all those other drones flying around and stuff like that. You better just go about your business. Forget what you saw. Don't ask questions. You won't get answers. I'm showing you some truth. Not some dumb blonde. I ain't no dumb blonde, getting in front of a podium talking like I'm tough. Okay? I'm showing you the truth. They have people paid. I mean, this was a long time ago. You imagine it now. They have paid people that immediately when something may have been cited or, something may have been seen, they have the information already, the storyline already preset aside to give to the public, to feed you bullshit, misinformation, confusion, because the UFO story is so big because it involves energy, pre-energy, 0 point energy, the Earth's electromagnetic energy. They don't want to tell you that. You see, these UFOs go from one pole to another in seconds. Okay? They're not going to tell you how everything operates. I was just really happy that I was privy to getting this.
Whilst it makes little sense for armament manufacturers to create hundreds of thousands of nuclear bombs, enough to extinguish all life on this planet many, many times, there is likely to be more to this puzzle. And it may be one of the many vitally important realities which are kept secret by the powerful few. These are official NASA photographs. Exactly what is pictured remains uncertain. It is, however, worth mentioning a report in the highly regarded Australian magazine Nexus that a Russian spacecraft photographing Mars ceased transmission in the presence of a huge UFO.
Yeah, so they also have, massive cigar-shaped UFOs. Massive. He was also saying that when they first were testing out these UFOs, like on night missions. They emitted a huge bright light, kind of like the bright light that people were seeing, in Jersey and stuff like that. And with those other drones. And also, what did he say? Oh, he said the power would go out too sometimes. Because the actual energy was so powerful. I mean, it would knock the power right out. So, I don't know if that has any relation. Capabilities for an invader from another planet. Or perhaps we are being used as a manufacturing base for deadly toys to be delivered to some distant intergalactic war game. I think we're all being used for some dumb intergalactic war game. Because nobody ever surrendered World War II. Nobody ever tells you the truth about an unseen war, unseen realm, unseen spirits that manifest with these UFOs as well. Because human energy is connected with this, as well as electromagnetic energy. And you see with this design that Reagan had, the Star Wars program and stuff like that, exactly what Trump is doing right now. Trying to start an arms race in outer space. Not good. UFOs seen so often are evidence of visitors from outer space, or examples of advanced anti-gravity craft made secretly on Earth in great numbers. It may be time to find a new system of planetary management, where love is the currency and money and time are only rated brief mentions in history books.